Good evening, welcome to the overnight edition of From Day One. And we're here with the final section of Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell.
Oh, it was pretty interesting, it's hard to believe. I think it's more likely that it's creating an invisibility effect than time travel, though.
Well, maybe. Either way, it'd be a big story.
Yeah, well, speaking of other big stories, I got home today to a message on my answering machine, which was sort of chopped off to have a really lame answering machine, but it's from my friend in Arizona who works in parks and went camping with some geologists, and
yes,
he mentioned about the Palmdale Bulge. Apparently they had a very spirited discussion about that, which I don't know what the Palmdale Bulge is. I was wondering if you knew.
No, I'm not a geologist either, but it sounds bad, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it sounds like it. Evidently it's something of great interest to them.
I would think of it just off the cuff as sort of an earth aneurysm.
I like that. Well,
all right.
I'll get back to you as soon as I find out anything more specific, and I'll see if maybe one of these geologists would be gutsy enough to get on the air with you.
Oh, hey, listen, if you get one willing to go on, have them call me.
They're notoriously closed-mouthed.
I know. So they like talk around campfires, but you get them in front of a microphone, they clam right up.
That's right.
All right, thanks a million. And have them fax me. My fax number is area code 702-727-8499. 702-727-8499. And we have done one other thing that is really fun. And if you wish to partake, you're welcome to. I'm going to give you the number. We've got a whole bunch of pictures, GIF pictures, and if you've got an IBM compatible computer, you can get them. We've got them on a bulletin board, and we're increasing. I'm going to send 6 more photographs up there tomorrow. Right now, we've got one of myself and my wife, one of just me, one of me in the Air Force 30 years ago. We have a ghost photograph available, and I'm going to be uploading a second ghost photograph in color, by the way. Both of these are in color tomorrow. There is a color photograph of the studio that I'm broadcasting from right now in my home. Actually, a photograph of it up there. There are 2 photographs of Mexican UFOs, and this relates to last week's Dreamland program. We had a couple of researchers on who talked about the sightings in Mexico. It's very exciting. So we've got 2 Mexican photographs up there. We've got the Roswell movie photograph up there, the very controversial one. And as I said, we're going to put a half dozen more tomorrow. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Who's this?
Art Bell.
Art Bell, how you doing? You're talking about the Palmdale Bulge a minute ago.
Yes, the earth aneurysm.
Right. I'm calling from Pasadena, California, home of Caltech.
Oh, yes.
And, I notice a lot. I drive by there every evening after I leave work. And one thing I notice is from the University of Oregon, I think it is,
Yes.
they have geologist trucks down here, but they're volcanologists, and they have a little volcano on the side.
Uh-huh.
And they always show up at 4:30 in the morning.
Why 4:30 in the morning?
You got me.
Sounds secretive.
Yeah, well, another thing I heard, too, was out near Landers is the ground after the Landers earthquake was so hot you couldn't touch it.
Really?
Yeah.
Due to what?
Gee, I don't know. Well, you have volcanologists out there now from Caltech coming down from Oregon.
That's really odd.
I know, it's really odd, too. I don't want to start a rumor, but...
Yes, you do. That's what you're doing. You're starting a rumor. The hot earth theory.
Yeah, it could be.
All right.
Remember, a week or so ago, I heard someone else talking about something similar to this.
Really?
Maybe it was over a week ago.
Well, we had a call, a very troubling call, from a man who talked about well levels and water tables.
Maybe that's what it was.
Rising. You remember that?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Oh,
I tried to call you right after I heard that.
There's a whole lot of geological rumor mongering going on, and there's something to it. I think there's something to it. Thank you very much for the call. It's just sort of a collective input. I'm getting information and faxes you guys just flat wouldn't believe regarding people who think there's getting ready to be a geological upheaval of some sort. A lot of information, really. East of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Yes, this is Bill in San Antonio.
Hi, Bill.
You, of course, are aware that the FCC limits the amount of fun you can have in a 2-hour period, and you grossly exceeded that in your first 2 hours.
Oh, wasn't that something?
That brought back a lot of memories of my childhood. I played a lot with electronics and electrical circuits, and I used a lot of spark coils, and I did a lot of Jacob's letters type stuff, and I enjoyed all that.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And that kind of thing really needs to be encouraged. It's not really isn't a madman type of thing. It's just a curiosity type thing that is really the basis of a lot of experimentation and what we have, the things that were developed, the technological things that we have today, really came from that kind of curiosity.
That's absolutely correct, and that's one of the reasons I went for the interview. I mean, there's just something about somebody like that.
It isn't anything unusual. It's like one of your callers that came in and said, a lot of wackos listen to your show. Well, I'm one of those wackos that's, a financial analyst, but I grew up playing with that kind of stuff. And, you get interested, you investigate things, you want to see what happens, and you try things out, and, maybe you don't ever find anything, but you check things out.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'll say it again. I think that talk radio should be on the edge. God knows we're on the edge. It should be on the edge. I mean, that's what it's all about. We're not mainstream media. I don't want to be mainstream media. I don't want to be mainstream media. And there is more to life than politics. There are a million different areas and things that you can talk about, and I just as soon let this program, as I have for all the years I've been on the air, over, going on a decade, about a decade, doing this particular program, I'd let it range wherever it's going to range. And I'm not going to change that. I don't care how big it gets. I'm not going to change that. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hi, Howard. How you doing? This is Clayton down in Laughlin.
Hello, Clayton.
I wanted to catch up with you and give you some food for thought.
Okay.
The quirk you were thinking about was the Tachyon.
Oh, Tachyon.
Tachyon, very good. Moves faster than the speed of light, so therefore it's going backwards in time.
Well, that's what the theory is, yes.
Right. And would also kind of remind you about the Montauk project.
Oh, indeed. Michael talked about that project, and I've had people on the air about that project. And look, I don't rule out what happened to Michael, his story. I don't rule it out at all. It may have exactly happened as he said.
Well, interesting enough about it is the aspect of having to use a psychic in order to actually kind of make things work. Using kind of like what they call amorphous resonance.
Yeah.
What makes your nose, what makes your eyes. These things come down in literal form. And supposedly that's why the Philadelphia experiment worked so well, because everything was tubed other than transistors.
Yes.
And had a natural resonance at that time.
That is correct, yes. Mm-hmm.
But nowadays they can digitally sample the resonance factor.
It's a point well made, thank you. I was talking, I don't even know if I ought to say this. I was talking to a man up in Washington State earlier tonight who claims to be working with dual resonance technology and claims to be able to move in time. But that's a story for another day. On the wildcard line, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hey, Art, what's up?
Well, you are. You're up, sir. Where are you calling from?
Kodiak, Alaska.
Kodiak, Alaska. I was going to say, I'll bet you it's Kodiak because we get this unusual delay when we talk to people there in Kodiak.
Oh, that's weird. I haven't called in about a year and a half, so I don't know.
Well, that's an even bigger delay. What's on your mind?
I was wondering about that time travel thing. I read an article in Discovery a while back that talked about this concept of different universes where when you travel in time, you don't actually travel in time, you just travel to a different universe. And every universe is just a different setup of each other. And how just each concept, like if I went back in time and killed my dad, you'd think I would be born, but actually I would have gone to a different universe. So in my own universe, I'd still be alive.
In that alternate universe, would your father also be alive?
No, because I would have killed him.
Well, no. But you said you would then be in an alternate universe, and in that alternate universe, for you to exist, your dad would also have to exist. You would just sort of blow yourself out of...
But my other self, the alternate universe, would die, not me, because I'm from the other universe.
All right, sir. Thank you. It seems to me that, to be consistent, you would, in effect, when you killed your father, blow yourself out of this universe, find yourself in another universe where your continuity can be accounted for. In other words, where your father still lives if he was supposed to be alive. And you could only exist there. Wildcard line, you're on the air.
Yeah, good morning. My goodness, I can't believe I got in.
Yes, you have. Where are you?
In Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Not far from Madman Markum.
Right, except I woke up as he went off.
Oh, that's too bad. You missed a good one.
Yeah. I was wondering, did you ever think that the space, all the space that they do at NASA has changed what's going on with the earthquakes and the floodings and all that and the pollution? I always thought that maybe that has a lot to do with the climate change and everything.
Well, I had a lady who called up not long ago and thought that every time they fire off the shuttle, it's like firing it off from the center of a balloon. And when the shuttle goes through the balloon, a bunch of stuff blows out before the hole seals up.
Right.
Is that your kind of thinking?
Well, years ago when I was in high school, our science teacher said that when you would put something through the stratosphere, that you would change the molecules, which would have a lot to do with the weather and what have you. And every time they go up, it seems that there is freak floods, freak earthquakes, and I really think that it has a lot to do with the ozone and everything else, because it's bound to have pollution from the fuel they use.
Yeah, I guess there's that. I mean, who knows? There are people who believe that our moral behavior is causing this. There are people who believe it is the space shuttle. There are people who believe that it's an angry God shaking his finger at us.
Well, you know what? Maybe it's a combination, because it's like if God's saying, hey, don't come up here. You don't have any business down here. You can't even take care of what's down below. Why are you worrying about what's up here?
Do you think God would say that?
Some people would say, well, but God gave us the knowledge to do these things. But it seems to me like it's one place where the budget should be cut. I don't think they need to spend that much money on NASA when they could take that same money and use it for research. That NASA, yes, they have come up with a lot of good things, but they should take that money and work on the good things that they've come up with, and maybe use their knowledge to help people down here, not up there.
Well, I know, but you've got Teflon pans.
No, that's what I mean. They came up with some good things, but really, what are we doing now up there? What good is it? I don't understand why they...
Well, communication satellites come to mind. I mean, there's a lot of tech. I mean, right now, you're able to get my voice because it's going up to a satellite that's distributing it throughout the whole country.
This is true. Like I said, there's good, but I think there's also a lot of bad that it's causing. I really think it's causing the...
Of course, depending on how you feel about my program, maybe you could say it's bad.
No, I enjoy your program when I'm up.
Well, I'm glad that you're up, and I'm glad that you called, and I really have to go because I've got a newscast coming.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for the call, and I guess that'll do it for this hour. They just sort of fly by. Yeah, if you don't like the program, then you could say it's technology being used for evil. The evil distribution of a program teaching people about God knows what, arcs and time travel, and what's next, how to build a nuclear weapon 101.
As before, muted areas are basically to get around YouTube's music copyright restrictions.
Link. Log on to coasttocoastam.com.
We will return to Coast in just a moment, as we fight through Dominion in the Avenger. Coast AM's final hour with Art Bell. Off the heels of Man Markum and his Time Machine. From April 18th, 1995.
Coast AM with Art Bell. Tonight's show originally aired on April 18th, 1995. Please do not call.
Yes, it certainly is. Talk radio of a different cut. I don't even know what we are. We're just open line, unscreened, rip 'em, tear 'em, let it happen, talk radio. And that's why I like it. Mr. Bell, I have been meaning to write you about an event that occurred 2 days prior to the San Francisco earthquake. My neighbor has a well, and it overflowed. A surge from very deep. It flooded my yard as if a 12-inch line had broken in his yard and poured into mine. 2 days later, the quake hit. And one comment about particles being faster than light. About 5 years ago, I recall that an Italian astronomer in Italy, and at the same time in England, an English astronomer, observed the same particle shoot from a distant star, and they made the same measurement. The particle had traveled faster than light. And then this. Art, a woman should be able to walk down the street safely, nude, if she so chooses, discounting the reactions of the local police. But I get the feeling that some of the really rabid prosecutors of the sexual harassment cases feel that she should be able to do the same without anyone, read, hear, men, even looking or taking notice. That is just not realistic. While she should be free from assault, physical and verbal, people are just naturally going to look, maybe even stare. Some might even take vocal notice as opposed to propositioning her, but I guess it's all the same to a feminazi. Do you think the feminazis would be nearly as offended if they were to be leered at by a lesbian? Or if they just knew which ladies they walked by were lesbian and the unpure thoughts that we're having? Jim in Tupelo, Mississippi. Well, you know, basically, Jim, I really do agree with you. And I'm sorry about what's happening between men and women in this country. I know it makes me sound like an old fogey, but I surely do miss the good old days when man could look at a woman, and maybe even, you know, if he's out there on a construction site or something, give a big wolf whistle at her without her going to court and taking everything he has. Or without him getting into great trouble. I mean, is that so bad? I guess the women would say yes. Yes, it's horrible being regarded this way. Well, I just don't I guess I'm too old. I'm never going to change. I'm never going to regard it as horrible. And I, frankly, at the risk of ending up in court or something, will probably keep looking until the day I die. First time caller line, you're on the air.
Yes, I have a comment to make about the hemp issue that was brought up. And I would like to say that, one, that it is not just a question just about hemp. It is a question about the paper production of America. I heard after the question about hemp was asked, an Arbor Day Foundation about planting trees. Hemp is not just something that can be used as a political tool to control the drug war. Hemp is something that can also be used to help the paper production and overuse of our country.
There's no question about it. The Wall Street Journal ran an article saying the government could realize $500 billion a year in profit from the various industries that would spring up from hemp.
Hemp and also what the point that I would like to get across is that rather than planting more trees, rather than using things as hemp, even though I do think it is a positive alternative that can definitely be used, other than doing things like that, what needs to be embedded in the minds of Americans is the need for a recycling program. Americans need to know that recycling does help, that recycling does help our forests. Forests are being cut down at an amazing rate. They're killing all sorts of species, all sorts of waters. They're killing our trees. There's been today, especially all over the United States and internationally, actions that were planned against multinational corporations in paper and...
Are you a Greenpeacer?
I am not necessarily a Greenpeacer.
Well, you sound like a Greenpeacer.
I am not, I see someone that typifies somebody like me as a Greenpeacer.
A tree hugger.
A tree hugger. No, I don't necessarily call myself a tree hugger.
But do you in fact actually hug trees?
Oh, yes, I do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Oh, no, hey, no, look, hey, what you do in the privacy, it's just
well, the point that I'm trying to get across, though, is I may be a tree hugger. I am not a Greenpeacer, but, I may appreciate the beauty of our trees. But what I'm saying is that what needs to be addressed here is that we are living in an environment which is being destroyed at an incredible pace.
All right. We'll have to hold it there. I understand your message. Believe me, I do. And as I said, ma'am, far be it from me. This is America. Still is America. And anyway, I don't want to talk about it anymore. East of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hi, this is Brian from New Orleans.
Hi, Brian.
Well, first I'd like to congratulate you on your old archaic construction site catcall mentality. But if I'd like to...
really, I saw a lot of construction guys whistle at women when I was a kid. I remember it. It's not like the world ended.
No, but I'm sure a woman who's been sexually assaulted before really likes to relive something like that. Something that can provoke that thought.
Well, but look, there was a day in America where a wolf whistle from, construction guy or something wasn't, it was either flattering or she'd blush, but it wasn't a matter for litigation.
Right. Okay, well, I'd like to move on to politics.
Okay.
First, Bill Clinton. He's going to be running for re-election in 1996, and I do believe he is unbeatable.
Unbeatable. The president last night was protesting loudly that he is not, damn it, I am not irrelevant.
Right.
And you agree he is not irrelevant.
Not in the 96 election.
You think he'll beat the pants off anybody who would dare to challenge him?
Well, think about it. Right now, the economy is doing well.
Well, yeah, reasonably well, yes.
We are not in a state of war.
That's true.
And people,
unless you don't talk about drugs, that's a different story.
True. But people generally bet or vote with their pocketbook.
That's true.
And you're going to see Bob Dole. He's going to probably come out to be the front runner, I imagine.
I'd say it's the best chance, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, Bob Dole isn't going to do it for the Republican Party, and you're going to have Bill Clinton in there, thank God, for another 4 years.
And what do you think Mr. Clinton, the relevant president, will do for America given another 4 years?
Does he really need to change anything? Think what George Bush did for us.
In other words, you're saying you can kind of just cruise.
Well, do you not agree things are going relatively well for the United States right now compared to 4 years ago?
I would say, as you pointed out, that the economy's cruising along now. I'll give you that. But as far as things going well, no, I don't think they are. I think socially we're absolutely a disaster and getting worse. Crime is bad, violent crime, and getting worse.
Crime statistics are overblown. Obviously, it's a little disturbing now that 14-year-olds are committing murders, but on a whole, crime statistics have not gone up dramatically. If not, they've gone down a little bit in the last 10 years. And
well, I think in all categories but violent crime. In violent crime, it's gone up.
I'm not sure. Maybe violent crime that's caught by the press, and you got to admit, the press does hype crime now a lot more.
So the whole thing is overblown as far as you're concerned. Where did you say you're calling from?
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Right.
New Orleans.
Right.
And you're downplaying the crime thing?
Well, crime's obviously horrible right now, but violent crime, on a whole, has not gone up in the last 10 years. Look at the statistics, Art.
Yeah, all right.
Seriously.
Look, I could look at the statistics from your city, sir.
Oh, of course.
I mean, come on.
New Orleans does have its problems, but
yes.
Statistics on a whole nationwide, violent crime and crime as a whole has stayed the same. And right now we're suffering from the hard copy, the current affair media hype of crime.
All right.
Now that sells papers.
All right. Thank you very much for the call. I'm sorry, but the numbers, I think, are real and horrifying. And frankly, of all the cities you could be making that statement from, I find it a little more than passing strange that you're coming from New Orleans. But, hey, that's all right. First-time caller line, you're on the air.
Art Bell?
That's me.
Oh, boy, I'm John from Carson City.
Yes, sir.
About these earthquakes, my hair is standing up on the back of my neck, too, for a long time. And I worked from 8 to 4 in the morning, and I got you all night long every night, and this is my night off, so I got up to see if I could call you.
Well, you did it.
And I want you to first understand, I'm not trying to kid you or nothing, but I had a little experience here Saturday night or early Sunday morning.
Yes, sir.
And I was out, I'd drive a patrol car, and I finished the patrol, and where I parked, and all of a sudden something hit the back of my truck, and it was snowing and sleeting, and I had the dome light on, and I looked back there, and here's this great big old bird sitting back there, one of those buzzards.
It pooped on your patrol car?
No, it sit on it.
Oh, I see.
And was looking at me. Well, I'm working on the assumptions these wild animals and stuff, they act peculiar around earthquake time.
Yes, sir.
And here I'm looking at this thing, just scared the daylights out of me, so I had my motor running, I had the radio playing, and it was unconcerned, so I just put my car in gear and I took off down the road, and here this old bird was flying out in front of me and off to the side and back and forth, and I went up to the end of the road. There was a cul-de-sac there, and I turned around, and it flew around me and went down into the canyon, into the valley. So I drove back around the residential area a little bit, trying to figure it out, and I drove back to where I was sitting before, and I sit there in the dark, and darn if he didn't come back again.
Oh, my God, what a weird story.
Oh, and you ought to see, I've never been that close to one of these things, and that's the ugliest thing you've ever seen in your life.
How big was it, actually?
I figured that it would probably dress out about 20 pounds.
Oh, that's a big bird.
With a big, long neck, you know.
Big bird. And you're telling me this thing chased you, and now let's back up a little here. You're an officer of the law?
No, I'm a security guard.
A security guard, so you're close.
Yeah.
And you would swear on your security guard manual this is true.
Well, this isn't the end of the story yet.
All right, go ahead.
And anyways, this time I shined my flashlight right in his face, and I didn't have the dome light on in the car, and he wouldn't move. Just looking at me, his head just kind of bobbing back and forth. So I start slamming on the seat on the driver passenger side seat, slamming that hollering and hollering. He just slid off the back like he had one foot on the bumper and went down on the ground. and I didn't see him no more, so I pulled out and I drove around, and there's a lot of equipment parked there, and I shined my headlights all over, and he disappeared. Well,
I take it you didn't want to get out of the car.
You got that right.
You think that thing would have come at you?
Well, I don't know that much about him. Last night I went to work, and I got a maintenance man on there just during the week, on afternoons and evenings, and he's a born and raised Nevadan, and I asked him, you been around these birds? Oh, yeah. I said, you see one around here? There's a big black one. He said, you see it's got a big, about 4 foot at least wingspan. He said, yeah, I noticed him all around you the last few days. Did you see him? I said, yeah. I said, how close do you ever get to him, or how close do you get to? Oh, you can't get near them. He said, I've been around them all my life. They won't let you get near. So I said, well, listen, I've told my wife this story. I'm going to tell you, but I don't want you to tell it to anybody else, because they're liable to send somebody after me with a net.
Guys in the white coats.
Yeah.
So you swear now this is true?
Oh, I'm telling you, it's bothered me ever since then. I mean, I'm prepared for earthquake. I lived in Butte County, California for 15 years before I moved here 7 years ago, and I think in those 15 years I probably experienced maybe 4 or 5 earthquakes. In the last year here in Carson City, I know there's been at least 10 of them.
I know, they're on the increase. All right, sir, I've got to go. Thank you very much for the story. That is a remarkable story. That is a remarkable story. And I'll tell you, here in Pahrump, Nevada, we have got the biggest birds I've ever seen in my life. I mean, these birds are freaky. Do you remember the movie The Stand? Do you remember the bird, the big black bird in The Stand? That bird came from right here in Pahrump, Nevada. We've got them all over the place. This guy's not lying. They can get 20-pound birds. I mean, these birds are big. And these birds feed on roadkill. You know, I mean, they really feed on it. I mean, these are big birds. I kind of almost hit one day. They get so bloated, they get so fat, eating rabbits that have been squished on the road, that they can't even get into the air. You know, these are big birds, and they start flapping their wings, and they're flapping their wings, you know, and you're coming down the road, and they're trying to get airborne, and their fat little bellies won't let them get up in the air. And I grazed one day that way. That sucker couldn't get into the air fast enough. I mean, he was lumbering, trying to get in. So we've got these big birds out here. They're big, probably big enough to pick up a cat. Maybe not my cat, but a cat. And they're pretty frightening. That's where the bird in the stand came from, right here. I've got them all over the place. They're big. They're eerie. And if they ever got a mind to start doing what this man just said, it would be not tolerable, I'll tell you. First-time caller line, you're on the air.
Yeah, hello, this is Todd in Berkeley again.
Hi, Todd.
Yeah, I was listening to the first 2 hours. That was delightfully off the wall.
You like that, huh?
Yeah, I really did. I have a kind of a clue, hopefully it'll be some use to Madman Michael. An article in Scientific American many, many years ago, 8 or 9, about phase conjugate light.
Uh-huh.
And it involves putting a laser beam through a crystal, and then at right angles or at some angle, a virtual beam would emerge.
Oh, well, listen, you're talking Star Wars technology here, I believe.
This actually involved theoretical time reversal of a laser beam.
Oh, no kidding.
So I was curious. It sounded like he used a laser beam.
He did. He used a laser souped up from a CD player.
To trigger the Jacob's Ladder effect?
That's correct.
Okay. About McNamara, it sounds like, I hate to sound conspiratorial, but it sounds like he's trying to give Bill Clinton a means to vindicate himself.
Well, a lot of people looked at it that way. You do, I take it.
Well, he snapped up. Bill Clinton snapped up on it so quickly, it was really kind of suspicious.
Well, I think things are getting pathetic at the White House. The president is reduced to going on television and beseeching us with the fact that he is relevant.
Yeah, no, this guy from New Orleans saying Bill Clinton was virtually unbeatable.
Oh, yes.
That's assuming he makes it to the election, you know, a la Whitewater and the Mena, Arkansas investigations.
He needs to be reelected because you know what's waiting for him if he isn't?
What's that? Oh yeah. Probably bars. But,
well, no, but there's this young lady waiting with a lawyer in a lawsuit.
Well, that's true, too. But for all these people who... Well, one of the things he was saying that the economy's in such good shape.
I mean, can you imagine, sir, that going to court? I mean, really now, you know he's married to, I think she's a pretty, what's the right word, stern woman. I think she's
strenuous.
A strenuous activist, probably pretty rough if you ever got into an argument with her. And when this trial would start, there'd be a lot of testimony and details that would tend to get you killed when you went home.
Yeah, I hear she throws things, too.
I've been rumors.
Yeah, one other thing. I just can't imagine Bill Clinton having 4 years that he won't be accountable to the voters for. I think that would be the ruination, as if, this is anything to crow about right now.
Yeah, I appreciate your call. Thank you very much. West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Art?
Yes.
I got to tell you, you're very comedic tonight. Let me tell you what went right past the lady with the NASA ships and the concern about the ozone when you said to her, Teflon, that was good.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
You know who this is, don't you?
No, I don't.
It's the reluctant prophet. It's going to change that tag name. You gave it to me a year ago. Let me tell you what you made me do tonight. You made me bring down my Mr. Coffee pot, which I've been avoiding. I've been just pouring my water into the, thing. So I'm addicted to you. And I have to tell you this, you're not nuts, and neither is the madman from Paramus. Where's he from?
Well, he's from Missouri.
Missouri, yeah. This kid's a smart kid. I also, if he's still listening, and I'm sure he's not, because he's got a million phones. He gave his phone number out over the air. I couldn't believe that. He's going to make a lot of new friends.
Oh, he's going to make a lot of new friends. That's right. I mean, I gave him his choice. He didn't have to do that.
Perhaps he's going to meet the one friend like Wilbur and Orville, the minus or the plus that's going to help him.
You are exactly right. He might connect with just the right person. Sir, I have got to go.
All right.
All right, thank you. He might connect with just the right person. You never know. So, Chicago, watch your electrical current.
You mean Kansas City, sir?
From the Kingdom of Nye, this is the best of Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. Tonight's show originally aired on April 18th, 1995. Please do not call.
From Bryn Marie, Art, regarding wolf whistles. I was hospitalized for over a month back in '83. Had wasted away to nothing. The illness and medications had made my face puffy, and about 1/4 of my hair had fallen out. In short, I was feeling down, doobie-doo, down. About 3 weeks after I'd been released, I was walking the 6 blocks to my grandma's house. That's where wolves always get you, Bryn, on the way to grandma's house. Suddenly, I heard a wolf whistle. I looked around, saw a city worker with his head sticking out of a manhole. He whistled again. When I made eye contact, smiled, and went back to work. I felt 10 feet tall, and not just because the guy was standing in a hole. The man did more for my self-esteem with that simple gesture than anything else possibly could have. Since then, when I've been to visit my dad, I've noticed that on occasion he'll give a wolf whistle at a woman. Most often to the bedraggled young moms with several very small kids in tow. I've seen those women stand a little taller, too. I have to conclude that not all people are as nice as that city worker was. and that if you cannot say something sincerely complimentary about someone's looks, it's probably wise to stay silent. But I won't forget that worker. Not in a million years. That's Bryn Marie. And back to the lines we go. East of the Great Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning.
I'm a retired Air Force SEAL grade officer who has been one of the few fortunate ones to probably read all of the UFO reports that were available outside of Project Blue Book in a building in Washington, D.C. years ago called Tempo E.
Really?
With an intelligence.
You've read all the secret stuff?
You got it. And I did tell this to one Air Force officer who I think is your MUFON director down in Florida, but I can't remember his name.
Yes.
And he got quite intrigued by it, and I'm trying to put some names together for him of those people that would be able to confirm that. And
Look. I got to cut through the quick here, and I've got to ask you, basically, what do you know that we don't? If you've really read these papers, sir.
No, these are reports.
Reports.
These are investigative intelligence reports.
Oh, okay. Well, even better.
And they didn't deduce anything that said why or what they were. They just told what happened, where it happened, and when it happened. And copies were sent, that I recall, to the Defense Intelligence Agency. I don't remember if CIA or any other agency was a distribution for these.
Was there a conclusion?
There were no conclusions. No, they were strictly straight gathering of intelligence-type information.
Would somebody like yourself who read them come to a conclusion?
I came to the conclusion that there were many, many sightings that were never reported anyplace else except to this investigative intelligence agency, and then just filed, except what they were then subsequently transferred to DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency.
Yes.
And I'm not sure about the NSA or CIA because it's been too long ago that I've read them all, but there was a room with nothing but 5-drawer filing cabinets, and I had gotten special permission to go in and read them because I was in a special training situation. And I was just interested in the subject at the time. It wasn't until recently, till I moved out here in Nevada, that I've gotten more intrigued because of what we allegedly have out here in Area 51.
Did you sign a security statement?
Say again?
Again, I'll say, did you sign a security statement?
No, I was at the time holding the highest possible security clearance available in the Air Force at my level, which was an SSIR clearance, and it allowed me access to special intelligence.
Are you violating anything by telling us what you're telling us?
No, because I'm not telling you anything that most of the reports were secret.
Okay, that's why I asked you. A person reading them like yourself would conclude what? That we are being visited, that there are extraterrestrials, that the UFOs are really craft of some sort, built by some kind of intelligence. Would you conclude that?
I would conclude that, and I would also deduce that there are many, many, many visits and sightings that have never been reported anywhere except in this data bank of files. Now, whether they've been subsequently reduced to microfiche, destroyed, or what have you, I really don't know. I've never followed up on it myself. I've been told that other people have tried to get to these files, but haven't had the right nomenclature or coding, and have been turned down by the Air Force because they said we don't have these files.
So filing a Freedom of Information Act, even if you knew you were going after, would be of no use.
No, they have filed apparently Freedom of Information Act with this agency asking for those reports. However, they've gotten back negative statements. They're not available. They're no longer available. They never were available. You don't have the right file number, the right case number, the right sequence number. And, of course, that's just a way of...
All right, let me try one more question. It's irresistible. You are familiar with the nomenclature.
Yes, and I reported that to that gentleman in Florida, and I'm trying to think of his name.
But I think he's your
It does not matter.
director, but he's an Air Force type that was familiar with it and was going to search for a way to get access to these files if they still exist.
All right, look, I can't spend any more time with this right now, but I would like you to contact me either by mail or fax.
Yeah, I'm going to fax you because I've had a hell of a time trying to reach you. It's just virtually impossible to get through any of the lines. And I've just recently started to try this with you.
All right, fax me, and thank you. West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Hi, Art. How are you?
Fine.
I'm glad to hear it. So I wanted to find out how you liked XCOM.
XCOM?
The file.
Oh, I loved it.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Was the manipulation pretty interesting for you as far as, the going after, sending the craft out to investigate the sites and whatnot?
Yes.
I thought that was a pretty accurate estimation of what, teams like that exist around the world.
Yes, sir.
What they would be doing.
I agree with you.
Listen, I do a lot of volunteer work out here in Spokane. Anything including animal training with big cats like lions and tigers, all the way to suicide prevention task force.
Right.
And that young lady sounded rather stressed tonight.
I know.
I felt really bad. I wish there was something that I could do. But obviously there's no way, for me here in Spokane to do anything about it. But,
well, hopefully she'll contact me.
Yeah, that would be nice. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, I just wanted to call and see how you liked the file and if you got any enjoyment out of it.
Great enjoyment, and I surely appreciate it. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you for your show.
Take care. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hey.
Hey.
Art.
That's me.
Hey, this is great. I've been listening to you all over the country, and I finally got a station that comes in clear, and I'm right at home at Twin Falls.
Twin Falls, Idaho. Oh, yes, that's right. We're on the air now in Twin Falls, right?
Yeah, I don't know how long you've been, but when we got home, here you were, and I thought, well, I don't have to listen to you in and out anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, you're such a good radio talk show host, and probably my favorite of all of them. I don't listen to too many but yours, and I really like to listen to Doc Democrat. And
oh, he hasn't been on this morning, has he?
No, I don't think so. And Charlie and Leonard, and it's just fun to hear them, even though I don't always agree with what they say. I think Leonard has things pretty right because I think he reads his Bible a lot and isn't too screwed up by.
Well, he occasionally may go off the extremist edge a little bit.
Well, I'm not sure. I haven't listened to him enough to know exactly what he believes. If he really studied his Bible, he'll have things straight. And I feel kind of sorry for people who are so caught up with all this UFO stuff, because I don't know. It seems like there's an intentional effort to be deceiving. Something is deceiving.
Well, that's part of it.
I don't know. I don't have it all straight.
Yeah, but see, that's part of the draw. I mean,
you're right.
What people don't understand, the curious ones want to know about.
Yeah, and see if it's true.
Sure.
And one thing I like about you, you don't just jump to conclusions and say, well, this is the way it is. You still have your... Except I kind of wish you would believe in the Bible and the scriptures a little more, but maybe one of these days you'll study it.
I don't. Well, I have studied it, ma'am. I've read the Bible many times. I don't disbelieve them. I don't fully embrace them, and I don't reject them.
Yeah, I know you're an agnostic, and then that's kind of a terrible place to be in, because I was there once, and then finally I truly, decided, or I accepted Christ as my Savior is what I did, and then I started reading the Scripture, and I thought, oh, this is true, and it seemed like His Spirit was communing with my spirit, and I just knew that it was true.
See?
But I did go through an awful dark period.
It's all right, thank you. It's an act of faith, you see. You accept it on faith. I've never had that luxury. I have this horrid little intellectual thing that burdens me that I have to be able to lay my hands on. I have to be able to see it and prove it and touch it and understand it and pick it apart and be able to be satisfied myself that this is so, whatever it is. And it makes it very difficult for me to accept things purely on faith. That's all. East of the Great Rockies, you're on the air. Good
Hey,
morning.
Art, this is Sam from San Antonio.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'd like to commend you on your program tonight. It was very beautiful.
Glad you enjoyed it.
I got a couple of quick questions for you, then a short black helicopter story.
Oh, I like those.
Okay, first off, whatever happened to that guy, I believe was in San Diego, who got verification from the government of some UFO activity? He was in the local news in San Diego, I believe.
He's still filing Freedom of Information requests, as far as I know, and still getting responses, so that's all I know right now.
Okay. Hey, you had a great program tonight, Art. Now, the black helicopter story,
Yes.
hey, I was coming home from the store,
Yeah.
and I got pulled over by a black 5.0 and a black Jeep Cherokee Grand. It was kind of crazy, Art. And they pulled me over, pulled me out of the car, and put me on the ground, handcuffed me. Didn't read me any rights or anything. Asked them what the problem was, and they told me that I fit a description, and went through all this. And usually, when you get pulled over or handcuffed or anything like that, you know, they'll read you your rights or give you kind of an idea. But these guys are very, you know, very stern. And
Not when you get pulled over by the black helicopter, please.
No. But it was, I mean, it was Bureau, BATF is what they were.
They were BATF.
Yeah, and I tried to report it to them. Report to the local police officers and stuff, and they had no record of any ATF activity in the city.
Of course not.
I'm calling from New Orleans, as a matter of fact.
Oh, I see.
But my theory on the black helicopters is that they help out the local police.
Well,
I mean,
you know, traditionally, local police and lousy federal agencies like BATF don't get along real well.
I don't think so, but I know that the local police told me that the NOPD told me that they didn't have any record of any federal activity, and I gave a call to
Of course they don't.
the Louisiana FBI department, and
even they might not know.
No, they said they didn't know, but it was kind of strange, and it's kind of a different twist in the black helicopter.
Well, I appreciate it. It is a new story, sir, and I appreciate it.
Okay, watch out for those black 5.0.
Yes, sir. I've got you right. You don't frequently hear about them doing, in essence, traffic stops, though. West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Yeah, Art.
Yes, that's me.
This is Sean calling from KNCR, Bakersfield, California.
Oh, up in, where?
Bakersfield.
Oh, KNZR, yes.
Yeah. I've been trying to get through for you a while. The federal inmate that wrote you a letter
Oh, yes.
about certain things, certain callers didn't believe certain things he said.
I don't know if this is ominous or not, but I haven't heard from him lately.
Huh. I'm calling to you right now from inside of one of California's finer institutions.
You are?
Yes. And
How can you make a call at this time of the morning?
I'm working. Well, I work.
Oh, in other words, you're a guard.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Everything he said is true and then some.
Really?
Yes. That is 100%. It's all true. And if everybody knew actually the access that these people have things to and all the things they have, just for one example, everybody that paroles in California, we give them $200 when they leave.
Really?
$200 gate money when they leave. This comes from way back when they used to give them, a new suit and bus fare.
Well, there has been inflation.
Yeah, $200 is a lot. Most of these people are returned from, they get this money and they get out and they buy more drugs and they come right back.
Well, to twist an old phrase I've used in a commercial, you cannot buy a fine wool suit for $200 today.
That's true. I like that commercial. Things even such as they have rights to anything that is sent to them from a publisher. One guard found child pornography in somebody's locker. Took this away from him. And the warden said, you will return this person's property because he received this.
Had to give the child pornography back.
Yes, because he received this legally from a publisher, sealed from the publisher in the mail, and he has a right to this, anything from a publisher. And I don't see how somebody can have a right to that.
Who's got it better, the guys on the inside or you?
Oh, fully them. So, I mean, as they say, 3 hots and a cot, laundry, everything is provided for them. Schools, computer class, GED classes. I've got to get up and go to work. I got bills to pay, you know. I've got life. I got crazy people on the streets to deal with. They far have it easier. Get to work out 3 times a day, go to bed, sleep when they want, get up when they want.
Well, like I said, I haven't heard from them.
I just couldn't believe certain people called and said that.
I wonder if somebody had a talk with him.
Yeah, it could have very well happened because they don't. If everybody knew what went on in here, there'd definitely be a lot more public outcry about it. And I couldn't believe the people that called and, oh, this can't be going on. Oh, this can't be going on. It's going on beyond your wildest dreams. You could not begin to imagine. Ice machines, microwaves. I'm looking at them right now.
All right, sir. I appreciate your corroborating his story. Thank you very much for the call. That is truly, truly sickening. West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Doc, Democrat.
Well, I'll be damned.
Well, good morning, Art.
Talk about it the last minute.
Hey, wasn't that outstanding leadership last night by the president? I mean, he set down a deadline.
I am relevant. I am relevant.
Well, he set down a welfare deadline for the Senate Republicans.
Yeah.
4th of July, and so Bob Dole can't play his little stalling games. You know, President Clinton was the guy.
Was that stalling games or Stalin games? It sounded suspiciously like Stalin.
No.
No, stalling.
Delaying games. How's that?
I see. That clears it.
But anyhow, this president, you know, he's going to get some action done here on these issues because, you know, for 2 years, the Republicans filibustered everything he wanted to do.
Yeah.
All these ideas, half of these ideas that the Republicans are doing were Bill Clinton's ideas.
Stolen? You mean stolen from Bill Clinton?
Yeah, exactly. They filibustered it when he was in
What
power
a
with the Democrats.
low-life thing to do. The Republicans stole Bill's ideas.
That's right.
And now he's, but you know,
Line out and veto.
There's just one thing I don't understand about all that.
What's
if
that?
they stole his ideas, then, like, how come he's threatening to veto them?
Well, because they changed him and made him so radical because they're such radical people that he has to change him to get them back into the mainstream.
I see.
I mean, that's just, you know, common sense. But, I mean, I think this president is going to get every one of his campaign promises done by 96.
Do you think Bill Clinton could cross a cattle guard?
Cross a cattle guard?
Yeah.
Certainly. Why not?
Doc, tell America good night. We're all done.
Good night, everybody.
Oh, boy. Maybe nothing will save us. That'll do it. We're out of time. I'm sorry, everybody. We live and die by the clock, and now it's die time. So, from the high desert, on behalf of all of those out there who make this program possible, thank you. Good night.
And that was Coast to Coast AM from April 18th, 1995. Let's have that in the background while we try to do one fight real quick. Actually, that's very simple. And that is Coast to Coast AM. The man, the myth, the legend, where he originally began so long ago. Alright, we'll give this a few seconds, see if this will allow this fight to go ahead and finish, and then we will conclude today's broadcast day. There's one. I expect to lose part B here. And we will go to part 3, which will be the one to determine the grand finale. If you do like more of Coast to Coast, let us know. We will air those. If not, we will return to either our Dark Matter or Midnight in the Desert, the more 2010 versions of Art Bell on future episodes. We have one final fight.
Rockies, you're on the air.
Oh, sorry. My apologies, Art. I was trying to re-cue the tape to get it clean. And of course, that would get replaced by the 2015 song that would get sent to him directly by the singer himself, which is why we have that other song at the end of Midnight in the Desert episodes. Alrighty, so again, like, share, and subscribe. Be kind to one another. Release the Krakens as we broadcast this overnight and every overnight here from day one. Have a great night's sleep. Enjoy yourself. We'll see you tomorrow on Tuesday.